When I was younger, like younger than I am now, I was obsessed with the idea of what it means to be good. Like, really morally, inherently good. I used to watch these medical Grey's Anatomy TV shows, and there would be this guy who would jump in front of this plane, train, automobile for a person he didn't even know, this complete stranger, and I think, damn, could I do that? But would that be the inherently good thing if all the people in my life that I've ever known and ever loved were distressed by my death? Would that be the inherently moral thing to do? Or would it be selfish? I don't know, and I still don't. That's never happened to me. I've never been in that situation. But there was one time about 5 years ago where I got a little bit close to that capacity. It was September of 2020, in the height of the pandemic, and I was living on my college campus, Rutgers University, and most of the classes were online, but a few were in person, and so there was some of us who were still on campus, and we had, these established pandemic pods, and my pod was with Aaron. I think he was 6 foot, but like at the time he was 7'5". He was suave and like stoic, and I don't think I had ever seen him smile, and I had spent freshman and sophomore year trying to get him to admit that he liked me. And he finally did. We have been dating for about a month. So, I mean, even in the midst of all that horror that was the world, things were, pretty good for me internally. So, one night we're sitting on a porch, and Aaron lived on a really cool block where, with the pandemic and CDC guidelines, obviously we had to stay within our pods, but he lived on that cool block where every person who's on campus had a house with these big wraparound porches, right? And so even though we couldn't congregate together, people would be like on their respective porch over there, and we'd be over here, and somebody would be blasting music, and we'd all be, hey, and in the realm of all that madness, it was some small sliver of normalcy, and it was beautiful. But this one night, it was Saturday night, and I was with Aaron and his roommates and some of my friends. There was about maybe 5 of us, and we're sitting on this porch, and this night was different. As people started milling about and congregating in the street, and we stayed on the porch, and we watched as people were in the street. At first it was this small group, and then it got bigger, and Aaron's roommate, who was coincidentally also named Aaron, was chiding them and remarking how irresponsible that was, and we were talking, and then all of a sudden I heard the popping. There were 3 pops from what I can remember, and then I don't remember hearing anything after that. And I don't know what happened immediately after. I didn't know what happened immediately afterwards, but I realized quickly when I saw the running and I saw the screaming. And I looked to my right, and my boyfriend, Aaron, was gone. He was running into the crowd. Who the hell runs toward gunshots? I don't know. And then suddenly I was running after him. I don't know. And I'm running, and I'm looking for him in this crowd of people screaming, and I swear to God I could not hear, and I didn't know if the shooting was still happening or if it had stopped. And my hand was like this, but then I realized that Aaron was tall, so then I moved my hand like that, and that wouldn't have protected me anyway. I don't know what I was thinking. And I'm searching, and it's madness. Until finally, what felt like forever, I find him, and he's crouched behind a car, a red car, and he's this stoic, suave guy that I thought was the coolest person in my world, was head between his knees, dry heaving and sobbing. And I crouched down next to him, and I asked him, why did you run? And in between these like heaving sobs, he says, I didn't want him to be alone. Him. And he motions his head, and he jerks it behind the car. And I look, and I don't remember what he looked like, but I remember his sneakers. They were bright white sneakers, the kind of sneakers that were so white you know that he wore them once or twice. There was no speckle of mud on them. They were brand new. And he was lying in the street, and he was dead. And then I remember his mother, but I saw his mother, but I heard his mother before I saw her, and I heard her yell, that's my baby. Oh my God, someone killed my baby. And I stood up, and I don't know what I didn't know what to do. I just stood there, and I started to walk towards her, and then that was when the police came, and suddenly everything was a commotion again, and Aaron's still heaving, and it's just a commotion. And finally, we're out of that scene. That the police push us out, and I try to get Aaron to go back into his house, and he won't. And we walked around until the sun rose that morning, and he never stopped crying. And in the days that followed, I mean, 2 people died that night. It was a shooting. It was in the news, but everything kind of felt just I don't remember what happened. People left. Some were gone for days, some weeks, some the entire semester. And my dad came and saw me and tried to check in, and he took me to Panera Bread, and after he made sure I was okay, he asked me why the hell I would run into that crowd, and I told him what Aaron had said. I wanted to be with him. I didn't want him to be alone. And my dad asked the same question that I still ask to this day. Why? Aaron didn't know this boy. Did Aaron even see this boy? Did Aaron know that he would find this boy? I still don't know. But maybe what it means to be good is also being reckless. And maybe being reckless is what it means to be human. And it's been years since I've seen Aaron. I don't know if I ever will again, but all I can say is that if I ever did, I think I'd still follow him into a crowd. Thank you.